How
Can
are
you see my
you?
face?
I can see your face. I think I was getting cropped.
Okay, well that's not good. We want to be
That's
able to see
not
both
good.
sides. Yeah, we got to see your face as well. How's everybody doing?
Hey, hi everybody. People are joining.
Wonderful.
Okay, I want to say your name absolutely correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Sultan
Yeah.
Salahuddin.
Yes, perfect. You got it. You get
Hey, okay,
an A
cool.
plus plus for that.
First thing first, for people who like live under a rock,
Okay.
where are you from?
Grew up on the mean south side of Chicago. Had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun, and that's where I'm from. What about you, everybody? What about everybody else on the internet? Chime
Yeah,
in.
drop where you guys are from. I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay,
Yes, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
that's
The
what's
mean
up.
streets of Brooklyn, New York. How long have you been in LA?
Oh, I've been here for over 8 years now, just back and forth
Wow.
working. Yeah, yeah, I've been here for a
Okay.
while.
That's dope. That's dope. How has Chicago like shaped you?
It's made me the man that I am, madam. No, Chicago has been very influential, and just learning how to treat people, learning how to make something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was able to hone my craft.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago shaped me in a lot of ways. I have a lot. I have very deep roots in the Chicago area. My mom still stays out there. Lots of
Mm-hmm.
friends still stay out there. So it's had a very significant role in shaping me as an individual, and it's done a good job.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I know you have a nonprofit. Is that
Yes,
solely based in Chicago?
yes, it is. It's called Lane 44. You can catch it at www.lane44.org. And just really quickly, what we do is
Mm-hmm.
that we provide opportunities for the youth on the South Side to participate in making feature films and getting credits, et cetera, teaching them the art.
I wish I had that, like growing up. Like that's super
I
dope.
know, right? I know,
Like
right? That
I'd
was
have had 40 credits by now.
40 credits. I think one of the motivating factors for that is just that when we were filming Southside season one, and we
Mm-hmm.
were on location all throughout the South Side. We're talking 75th Cottage Grove,
Mm-hmm.
79th and King Drive,
Mm-hmm.
83rd and Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we were out on location, some kids from the neighborhood. And I don't know if anybody knows this about Chicago, but we're very friendly
Mm-hmm.
people. We'll come up to you and speak to you and have a conversation with you, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to know you, and we'll never get your name, and we'll talk for like 3 minutes, and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the bus going for the rest of my life and see you and yours. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the kids came up and just asked so many questions about
Mm-hmm.
what we were doing, who we were, and it just just got to my heart, and I was like, yo, I need to do something in my neighborhood and bring the opportunity to the youth, so that we can help brighten the future for some people.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand the many roles
Yeah,
people play in film. It's like, okay, I get it.
absolutely,
Everybody wants to be an actor, everybody wants to be a writer, everybody wants to be a producer, but there's so
yeah,
many roles. There's so many ways to do what you love and make good money in the
absolutely,
field. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am. You preaching to the choir. Absolutely.
Yeah. 'Cause I know some drivers that could outdo a lot of actors.
I
You know
know,
what
right?
I'm
They're really good. I think,
saying?
and I think you just hit the nail right on the head. There are so many different lanes and opportunities
Mm-hmm.
for you to participate in that industry, and a lot of times we're just not aware of it, or we don't have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to learn the skill. So, I feel like let's bridge the gap there and make something happen.
So how did you know, like coming up in Chicago, how did you know
Yeah.
like, okay, the entertainment industry is for you? Was it family that brought you to that space or you just knew that it was for you?
Ever since I was a little wee kid, a little tyke. I enjoyed entertaining. I was always telling jokes, having fun. I come from a big family, so in our house it was never boring. And I have other members of my family who are also in entertainment. But I think for me, it was just making others laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew I had like the some sort of God-given ability just to make people smile and ease the tension in situations. And it worked through grammar school, middle school, high school, college, life, business.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided to, as opposed to just being a funny guy or
Mm-hmm.
doing stand up only, I decided to link up with family as well as take the pen and put it to the pad and write. And I think that's the biggest part that a lot of people don't see you do or don't realize it's necessary, is that it's a huge writing and creative aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can take the time to put yourself in the seat and discipline yourself, you can get a lot accomplished. So, you know, I chose that path as I gotten older, and I'm glad I eventually morphed over this way because I used to do all kind of other jobs. That's way in the past, but at the end of the day, you know, the bug bit me when not only was I doing stand-up comedy, but just having fun with all my friends and family as a youth.
Yeah, on this like show, we like to like pause and like do like, okay, that was a gem drop. So a gem drop, like you just said, was like discipline. And like a lot of people say they want to do certain things, not only in this industry, in general, and they just don't have the discipline. And discipline can get you so far. I like that you said that.
Yes, ma'am. Discipline is key, man. Without it, you can't get to where you're going. And a lot of times we stand in our own ways because we're not willing to just like put in the work. And that's something I learned early in life. You know, shout outs to mom and dad and, you know, my big family that's always been behind me is that they made sure that when we started something, we finished it. And, you know, you get out what you put in. So, you know, that if you really, and here's another interesting thing is like, a lot of people that you see in entertainment or in television or in the movies or what have you, or behind the scene that you may not see, the one thing that they all have in common is that they're very hardworking and driven people. Like you don't get here even if you're the funniest guy in the world and you go on stage and you kill at your first ever stand-up opportunity, or you kill when you're on stage, you hit all your lines, everything is perfect. If you don't practice that, if you don't work at it, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's just going to be just that moment. And that moment, you know, is 15 seconds if you get that sometimes. So it's really about, I mean, it's this discipline is one thing, but it's the drive, it's the ability to finish, and it's the ability to stay hungry when you're already fed.
And you mentioned something about like you sat down and you started writing. Like you knew you were a funny guy, but like you had to sit down and started writing. So what came first? Was it like, I know I'm funny, but maybe I'm just a writer. Maybe I'm going to write for funny people. Or was it like, no, I'm funny, I'm going to write, and I'm going to act?
For me, it was, I didn't sit down and start writing for years after. I knew I was funny off the bat as a kid. Like I stayed in trouble in high school. I stayed because I was always cracking jokes. Like I had good grades, I had decent grades so I could play sports, but I could also crack jokes and I could get away with murder because I could make the teachers laugh. And I never really got disrespectful across the line. I just made them laugh. And so, you know, from there, I started doing stand-up, and I did that for several years, and I really, really enjoyed it. That's really what, like, the first time I knew, I guess to get back to your original, the first time that I knew, I was like, yo, this is a profession. This is a world I want to go in, is when I was doing stand-up. And if you know any stand-up comics, and and you ask them about the first time they got a big laugh or a decent laugh on stage, they can describe to you when that was, how that felt, and how it became addictive to them. And that's what it was for me. Now, take telling jokes on stage and doing the stand-up comedy life, I was like, well, I want to do a little bit more than that. And you know, I sat down and I took the time to figure out how to format stories. I went all the way back to English 101. For all you kids out there that are in English class or writing, you better pay attention. Because it's like when back in the day they had typing class and he was like, no, I ain't doing that. I'm too cool for that. No. Now everybody in their world needs to type. So now you like, damn, I just want to pay attention. So that's pretty much
a writer's assistant.
Yeah.
Those typing classes help me.
Man, yes. You know what I'm talking about. So you be like, excuse me, wait, what did you guys say again? Hello, you're supposed to be keeping up.
We want to see the screen, okay? The screen.
Let me broadcast. Hold on one second. I'm having technical difficulty broadcasting for the next 20 minutes. Yeah, seriously, I get it. Absolutely.
You definitely hit the nail on the head right there. Stand-up comedy. Then you do what? I know you did Blackish. Was that your first debut, or like how did you get on TV?
No, Southside. Well, okay. So this is a really interesting story. So when we were pitching Southside, by the way, I pitched Southside with Bashir Salahuddin and Diallo Riddle, and Comedy Central loved the show. So we sat down together and wrote episode 1. And as a result of writing episode 1, I took some of their knowledge and some of their experience, and I just plugged in with them and used their knowledge and experience so I can learn from them, as well as provide stories and bring it all together. Anyway, we formed Voltron is what I'm trying to say, ma'am. I don't know, probably dating myself, but anyway, or GoBots, depending on Transform, whatever it is. We formed a mighty robot. And that's when it shifted from stand-up to writing 30-minute comedic sitcoms for television. And that format right there, I fell in love with. I was like, oh, this is because you get such a quick turnaround and response when you write television versus if you write film, because just for the time period it takes. And I was hooked. So here's the deal. We were kind of like behind the times, but on our way. So when we debuted, we were on Comedy Central. And if you know, Comedy Central was still cable. It was still, I got to pay for all 1,000 channels just to see Comedy Central. At that time, most people were leaving cable and they were going straight to streaming. So we got caught in that small little vortex. Then COVID hit. So that took a whole nother year and a half. And then after COVID hit, in the middle of COVID hitting, HBO MAX purchased our show along with some others. So now we're on a new platform. So we were doing our thing on Comedy Central for a whole year. We shot season 2. Season 2 debuted on HBO MAX. So the beautiful thing about that is we actually got to debut twice. So we debuted on Comedy Central. Then other people were like, what do you mean they have a whole season? What the hell?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, okay, we're going to watch 2 seasons of the show that I didn't know existed.
Right. It's a gift. It was a small gift. And then after you got done, you're like, oh my God, when is season 3 coming out? So, happy to report we're working on season 3 right now. I'm actually in the lab. I'm in my office right now, staying late so we can have this wonderful exchange. Gotta tell you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like that's what we were doing. We were just coming together, writing. And the thing about it is, I think one of the reasons our show got picked up, and this is just me speaking to anybody who has aspirations to do a show, I would say, you got to be passionate about your project, because that comes off the page. It's present when you're doing the pitch. It's present in all aspects of how you do it and present it. And if you don't have that excitement and that energy to do a project, I mean, it's going to be just like a job. And you know how all those end. You're not going to put that, like there are extra miles and things that I do when I'm writing or for Southside or any project that I'm a part of, especially when I'm excited about it, that I wouldn't normally do. Like when I leave the writing room tonight, when I go home, I'm probably going to spend another hour and a half just writing ideas, potential pitches, just in case we need a different episode. And, we pretty much are where we need to be. But when's the last time you were at work and you went home? He's like, man, I need to do some more work. Never. So like that for me is really a really important key ingredient for anybody who wants to do a show. In addition to know how to read, write, and be funny, depending on what your genre is, whether it's thriller or it's rom-com, or it's just, what lane you choose to go down. Make sure you know that lane, but also be passionate about it and really, really, because you get out what you put in. I'm a firm believer that. I got that from playing sports back in the day, but you get out what you put in. Q, who plays the manager on the show, he used to work for, so first of all, let me give you a little bit of backstory. I went to high school with Q and K. Those are my high school friends. Like they came to high school when I was a junior, and we had 2 years together. But they also lived right around the corner from my mom's house. So like they've been childhood friends for real. So when we would all descend upon Chicago, because we all live throughout the United States right now, for Thanksgiving to hang out at my mom's, we would have epic Thanksgivings where it would be jokes left and right. It'd be some people would be performing. But one thing that would always happen is Q would always come over this is the interesting thing about that. Some Thanksgiving nights, he was actually working. So he would pull up in his, rent-to-own truck, or he still have his uniform on from where he just got off. And then we'll go back behind my mom's house, and we'll talk about his day. So when we were talking about his day, I was like thinking to myself, man, this would be very interesting. So I pitched the idea to my brother just in passing conversation. And he was like, I love the idea. Why don't we sit down and put something together? And the rest is history. That's literally how the show was born. That's exactly how it happened.
That's so authentic.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it is, it's like it's been right there the whole time. Like a lot of people in America don't know what Rent-A-Center is, but those who do and those who are learning about it, are just learning about that community. Yo, it's like right there. Like, how do you not? So anyway, it was just and to his credit, Quincy is a great storyteller, and his his stories were extremely funny. So I think his ability to convey his experiences in a comedic way, man, it lit my fire, and that's where we are today. So thanks to a close friend who went through the fire of, you know, actually doing it in real life, we were able to bring it to the people.
Right. It's so authentic, and everybody loves it. Everybody that I know that has seen it, like, loves the show.
Well, you tell everybody I said thank you.
Guys, people are asking, how can I get casted for season 3? They're like, I want to get casted.
I get that all the time. I've always thought that we've had a good show, and I thought we had a very funny cast, and I thought we provided something that was unique, but I never counted my chicks before they hatched, because there's no guarantee. Like, when we were in the middle of writing season 2. So first of all, very thankful and excited when we got season 2. I was like, oh wow, the gifts just keep on coming, because it came when season 1 was airing. So we already knew before season 1 was finished airing that we had season 2. It's like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. Maybe it could go we don't know. So then season 2 comes along. We're writing season 2. And then COVID hit. And so then after we finished, when we finished writing season 2, then we all had to sit for like a year and a half. And so we didn't know if we were going to come back. We didn't know anything, because a lot of shows, like I said, did not survive COVID. But to our surprise, we moved on up like the Jeffersons. We moved to HBO MAX. Season 2 was like, all right, we're going to see y'all in Chicago. And we were like, wait, what? So, and we recently got announced for season 3. So I'm still like, you know, living the dream. Like, for me, it's I could pinch myself and not wake up. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, really? So I can't tell you how to navigate that or to assume that you're going to automatically get it. But I will say, treat every moment and every episode and everything like it's your last, because you don't know if you're going to. It reminds me of like what Allen Iverson used to say, how he leave it all on the court and play like it's his last game. You're like, that's right. You never know if you're going to get another second. So, you know, that's my mentality. I can't speak for others, but if we get a season 4, I'll be just as shocked as when we got season 1.
Well, I hope you guys do get a season 4. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with for season 3. Like, I know it's crazy. Like, y'all are
we got something for y'all.
Oh my God.
We got some fire, yo.
Without divulging too much, because
let me tell you exactly what season 3 is going to be right now. Just kidding.
Okay.
Out getting into the DNA of it and giving away top secret secrets. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. You know, I think, you know, I got to give credit to the executive producers for the show. One of the things that's really important to them is they make comedy a priority. But comedy supported by good storytelling. Comedy and good storytelling supported by unique things you've never seen on television before in a way that is our voice and from Chicago. So I think, you know, the executive producers for our show are just, they're visionary, and I feel comfortable following them down the path, as well as one of the creators. You know, I'm also, I have a hand. I can't act like I don't help steer the ship. But the reality behind it is like, it's an environment where you can be as funny as you can and be as creative as you can. And if you got something funny, you know, our overall goal is to provide comedy and hard comedy for people to see and be able to let their guard down, come and watch Southside, you know, relax for 30 minutes and enjoy themselves. That's the priority for us. So I think, with that constant reminder and that North Star, I think we're doing okay. So that's how it gets there. Right. You gotta have that vision. And we have talented people too. Like, we got some very talented writers. Our writing team is very talented. Our acting team is very talented. You know, all the way down the list, we have a lot of very talented individuals. So, you know, we lucked out.
That's amazing. Zuri's your sister, right?
Yes, she is. She's very talented.
Okay. So I was stalking her Instagram, and I
saw that's great. She'll love that.
One episode on season 2.
Please follow my sister. She will love that I said that. Follow Zuri. She's amazing.
She really is. She's so
funny.
She is.
She's dope.
And I saw that she was saying like, thank you for the opportunity for allowing her to write an episode. I believe it was season 2, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am. You're
so,
correct.
I saw her saying that, and I was just like, wow, like you guys really have like a solid family dynamic when it comes to working on the show. So how does that work with you guys?
It works really well, simply because, and I have to go back to what I was just talking about. It's like nobody. This is from my observation. I don't feel like anybody is putting themselves above the quality of the show, like, or putting themselves before the show. Like, everybody is there to try to make the show the best that it can be. And I think when everybody's mind is on that, it's focused on the same goal, you're going to get that kind of product. So it's fun. There, obviously, we can throw jazz back and forth. They go back to our childhood or things that are specific to Chicago at times, but ultimately, it reminds me. Sometimes it reminds me of my mom's living room, where you had all of my siblings plus a lot of our friends that would come and go. You know, if you've ever had a big family or been to a big Thanksgiving event where after the food is eaten, people are sitting around rubbing their bellies, it's joke time,
right.
Or they're playing video games in one corner, it's joke time. So sometimes I feel like the writing room is like that. And I mean, there are funny jokes that are coming from all over the place. And we do a really good job of trying to capture as many of them as we can and put them in the show. But I got to tell you, sometimes it's just too many. We can't put them all in the show. But our show is, there are jokes that are left. There are scenes and jokes that are left on the floor that you guys, unfortunately, will never see. But they would make you cry because they're funny. So.
Oh my goodness, we need like a little blooper reel.
Bootlegs and B-sides, like exactly what I'm
yeah.
That's a whole nother situation.
That's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
That.
Oh my, but it's fun. And I think, again, when you're thinking about doing a show, or you want to have people you're going to write with or work with, I think it's important to talk about what your goals are and make sure that you guys are on the same page when it comes to the vision of the show.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Do you have any advice for not new writers, but people that are like on that pitch mode, that they have their show ready in the vault, but they don't know what to do next?
Interesting. Well, that's a question you can't answer with one response, unfortunately, because we're talking about a very complicated thing and a complicated process. So my first question would be, the best way I would be able to help them would be to ask questions. I'd be like, what genre are you in? Okay. And if it's not a genre that I'm familiar with, I'll be like, you might need to go talk to somebody who's good at romance to make sure that you're hitting all those points. But outside of that, let's say they're in the right genre. I would say, first of all, write every day, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours. Just take time out to write every day, whether it's in your phone or a notepad. Write every day if you're committed to it, because it's a craft that will demand your respect. And every time you put something out, it will show how much energy you've put into your craft, like, period. Just like anything else you get out. So, and then as it relates to pitching your show, that's a whole nother process where it's a lot of other people involved. And it's not just like, see, here's the trick. You can't just go up to the studio and be like, yo, here's my show, check it out. That's not how it works. You have to either have an agent or know someone who's connected.
Right.
And you have to use them as a medium to get to it. So I would say that's the first thing. But even before you get to that stage, make sure there's a book called Writing the Killer Treatment. I think it's by
Writing the Killer Treatment.
Writing the Killer Treatment. I want to say the author's name is Michael Halperin. I'm guessing right now. That could be wrong, but his first name is Michael. The book is called Writing the Killer Treatment. That book, in of itself, should be in your library. And the reason you need that book is because when you're writing a show idea, or before you can even pitch the idea, you have to really work out all of the elements. Like, what's the long term? How many episodes am I going to have in season 1? Is it going to be serial, or is it going to be episode by episode, in a sense where they're not going to be connected? And there's jargon for that. It just escapes me right now. But long story short, you really got to have a lot of specifics for your show. And you have to really be confident and excited about it and familiar enough with it to answer any questions, whether you don't know the answer immediately or not, but be open to understanding the answer. Be open to receiving the question. So even if you don't have the answer, you can go get it and make sure you have it the next time. But Yeah, you definitely want to write a treatment before you go. In my opinion, this is my advice. I would say
Right.
write a treatment before you go and write a script. Write a treatment because you will learn in your treatment whether it's script worthy. You can pitch a treatment.
Ooh, Gem.
You can a lot of. I mean, it's in that book. A lot of shows are sold off treatments. They're not necessarily showed. Once you do the treatment, then the network's like, all right, we're going to order a script.
Yeah.
And all of this information is, I got out of the book, I just sat down and learned all that good stuff. But the point is like, if you can't write a good treatment for your show, for your idea, how can you expect someone to purchase it?
That's true. Yeah. We get a lot of DMs like, hey, I have a screenplay, I have this. And I'm just like, okay, I know, like, we sit down, all of us, we sit in our meetings, and they're like, oh, this person sent this over, but it just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. The treatment's not right. And I just want, for somebody that has a hit show, I want, you to let them know, like, hey, these are the steps. You do need an agent. A lot of people are like, just want to just DM show creators like, hey, make my show.
Let me give you a heads up on that. So like, and this, I'm about to get into something that a lot of people on Instagram, because see, there's a big misunderstanding. Just because you can DM somebody that you admire or you like or you want to work with, and you're a writer or you're an actor, whatever, that's not the proper process. You don't use Instagram, Facebook, or whatever to get someone to give you attention. Like, that doesn't work. So I just want you guys to know, every time you do that, here's the reason why. Because, like, I'll take myself, for example. If somebody is like, yo, I got a show idea, and they send it to me, I'm never going to read it. Do you want to know why I'm never going to read it? This is why I'm never going to read it. One, because if it shows up in any creative form on Southside or anything else I'm doing, that individual will have cause or potential cause or belief that I stole their idea. So I have to guard myself and make sure that anything that I read as it relates to a show idea or a pitch idea, that the person understands that, hey, I can't take this anywhere. Or in addition to that, that I'm not going to read it because I don't want that. I don't want us to get into that sticky situation. And that's just something you have to, and it's not just me. There are many, many other people that move like that because that's just how you protect yourselves. Now, if you want to write a spec for a particular show, go through the network. There are people who work at HBO MAX, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu. They are there specifically to catch scripts or treatments based on any of those shows that are running right now, and they will read them if they're, if they're worthy of reading, but they will read them. And so that's who you need to go to. Like, if you're asking, that's just like me Instagramming, I don't know, Drake. Hey, man, can you put me on the song? That ain't gonna work.
Imagine.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, like, it gets real serious. I was in a room and the showrunner was like, I don't want any of the writers tweeting people. Because if one of those tweets or that joke comes in what we got going on, that's the first thing they're going to do is say, oh, they stole my idea because they were already doing that for the show. So I'm glad that you brought that.
I'm never saying your stuff isn't good or it's not talented. It's not talent. Like, you're not talented, but I'm just in a particular situation where I can't take unsolicited writings, if you will, because it doesn't benefit either one of us. So.
Right. 1,000%.
Because, it's show business. It's 98% business, 2% show.
Switching gears, outside of yourself, who's your favorite or most dynamic character on the show that you like?
On Southside?
Southside, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite character is Goodnight. I feel like he has the most flexibility to be he's just funny to me. He's just silly, and I enjoy writing things for him, but it's Goodnight. That just his comedic style, the way he sees the world, the things that he says, and his perspective of the South Side is really familiar, and it's funny to me. So that's my favorite character on the show.
Yeah, and you guys made him and his wife have a white child, which I thought was so hilarious. Like, what the hell?
2 blacks and a white. Yo, that.
Oh my goodness. So my quick question, real quick. Like, with social media, did you see that rapper that was in the club, like he died, and this family put it. I was like, is this an episode of Southside? Like, what is going on?
You know, I saw that. Yo, the second that came out, my Instagram, like, it took on a whole new life. I personally believe that we may have gotten more fans for the show as a result of people be like, yo, this was on Southside, and then just that fan. So I feel like we got some. Unfortunately, it was at someone's demise, but they chose to stiffen their body up and go to a club, which is what we did on our show. So it kind of worked out. I was like, that's good, but thanks, buddy.
Right.
But yeah, I heard all about that.
That is so great. I was like, what is going on outside of Southside? Like, what's next for you? So everybody knows, like, to keep up with you and where they can follow you on Instagram.
Okay. Definitely you can follow me on Simon J. Southside on Instagram. Unfortunately, I don't really do all of the other medias because I don't have the time. Like, I don't have the time to do, I wish I had the time to do a Twitter and a Facebook and maybe 10 other things out there that I'm unaware of. But I just don't have the time. So I do Instagram. You can follow me here, Simon J. Southside. What was the first part of your question?
What's next?
What are the projects? So I can't really speak to it, but I am working on a couple of other shows as well as a couple of features. So, you know, yeah, those are some things that I'm working on right now. What?
Will you be acting in them?
Yes. Yes, I will be acting in them. Yes. I had to think about it because it's more than, there are two projects specifically that I'm excited to act in, but there are other ones where I probably won't, but I'm excited about them just as well because it's just like, but yeah.
Right.
Yes, I will be.
Like, hello.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, you know, the beautiful thing about that is like this busyness and all of the things that we're receiving, the support, the positive support for the show, all of that stems from us doing the work. And so I would say to anybody out there, if you put in the work, if you give it the time, like a lot of people don't notice, it took 5 years for Southside to even get on air.
Wow.
And that's considered fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And this is back. Yeah. So I'm just saying that to say, like, if you could think in that 5 year span before we got our opportunity, you can imagine the hills and valleys. But the one thing that you just got to stay true to what you believe in. You got to put in the work. If you're not willing to get off, dare I say it because we're on it, but I'm not even saying get off, but make time for it. Let me rephrase it. If you're not willing to make time for the things that you want, you will not see them. You have to make time. Period. You're not gonna see it. Yeah, you got to do that. So.
Okay, and we're just gonna end that portion right there. Before you leave, we want to play a little game with you. Are you down?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
You ready? No, I think you'll be good. I think you'll be good with this one. Okay, so we're gonna play like a little fast round. So the first part is like really like Chicago edition, and then I'm gonna ask you some quick questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind, you let me know. Okay, so who would be your dream co-star? Common, Jennifer Hudson, Oprah, or Kanye West?
Out of those four?
Yes.
From an acting perspective, I gotta go with Jennifer Hudson. That girl got chops.
Ooh.
She's talented, yo. She can't just sing; she can act. I mean, she can act. So I would have to go with Jennifer Hudson on that one. I have a funny feeling that she is funny, but we don't really get to see that side. Although I think it's more drama for her. But I think, from Chicago right off the rip, I feel like she's funny. But I feel like she would be good. So it would be Jennifer Hudson.
Okay. And I have a little side question to that. Because somebody said Kanye would be amazing. Would you have Kanye on Southside?
Me personally?
You personally?
Hell yeah. Like, what? He's from Chicago, man. I like, people's opinions and politics and his personal life aside, I feel like he is a musical genius. He's very talented. He get love because he's from Chicago. I don't know, and he said some funny shit in the past. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Okay, so then that brings us to the next question. A dream guest star on Chicago between G Herbo was not on Southside.
No, he was not.
Okay, so between G Herbo and Michelle Obama, who are you choosing?
Between Gene Harbaugh and Michelle Obama? Between G Harbaugh and Michelle Obama, like. First of all, I haven't seen either one of them in front of the screen. So, but if I had to make it, actually that's not true. Michelle Obama's been in front of the screen a lot. I'd have to give Michelle Obama the nod, but only if we were in a basketball scene when she was on my team, because she's tall.
Is she really?
Yeah, Michelle Obama's tall. She's a tall lady.
Well, I've never seen her in person. I don't even how are we talking 5'11"?
At least.
Wow.
Yeah, at least.
Damn.
I believe she might be. This is me. I believe Michelle Obama might be able to dunk personally. I feel like she might have up secretly. She might have mad hops. I don't know. So it's just like she might. I don't know, but yeah, Michelle Obama.
Okay, so we give it to Michelle Obama. Okay, greatest sitcom of all time.
Ooh, that is I mean, we can go all the way back to Barney Miller. Not Bernie. That's different. Barney Miller. I mean, greatest sitcom of all time. We talking Cheers. We talking Taxi. Ooh. We talking Work from Org. We talking sitcom. That's so hard. All right, let me see. What's my favorite? The Jeffersons. Oh man, All in the Family. Comedy. We just Martin.
I was thinking Martin.
Yo, like that's a big one.
That's a huge one.
Obviously SNL, the sitcom. My favorite. Like, what's my favorite sitcoms? I used to say, I mean, Different Strokes. I could just keep going. Like, from my childhood, I think the thing I enjoyed watching the most was like, it was so many. I was such a TV head back then. That's a really good question. I haven't been asked that. So if I had to make a choice, I would say Cheers.
Cheers.
I think the way it was written, I mean, from a writer's perspective and how all the characters are very unique and how dynamic they were, I'd have to give them. I mean, because I feel like you got Cheers, but the modeling of Cheers set up for so many other things like the Seinfelds and, all the many other shows that follow that. But Cheers was like, that's a show I actually enjoy watching as a child. So,
it's like the blueprint. So, I definitely get that. Okay.
It was good, man. I got the joke. So, what can I say? Cheers.
Right. So not to put you in a sticky situation, but who is your go-to comedian? Like, who's your favorite comedian?
Oh, that's easy. Bernie Mac. Unfortunately, he's not with us, but that was my favorite comedian. I'm on record saying that. That's not even a question. That's my favorite comedian of all time is Bernie Mac. But I also enjoy I enjoy any comic that has contributed to the art form and has taken the time to bless us with their presence on stage. Whether you see it or not, I'm all for it because that's my lane. That's my people right there. Stand-up comics, I love them. So
love that. What's your guilty pleasure movie?
Guilty pleasure movie?
Yeah,
The Notebook.
You could watch it over and over again.
The Notebook.
For real?
No, I'm lying, girl. You know that ain't my favorite movie. my favorite guilty pleasure movie that I have watched over this movie I've even turned on and done stuff around the house and only come in on certain parts. Gladiator.
Really?
Oh man, I love that movie. That movie's Gladiator. Yo, that's a great story. It's a great story, Gladiator. So that's for me.
And
are you not entertained? You see, I be stealing lines from it and stuff. So
I see. My last question is: do you have any talents that nobody knows that you have?
Yeah, I can drive 18-wheelers.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm licensed to drive 18-wheelers. Yep. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Poconos for a little bit, so that was like a thing. So that's really, wow, that's super dope. That's really cool to know.
And I play bass. I used to play baseball as a kid. I was really good at it. So, I was a jock. Actually, I used to be a jock. I was all city, all state, all that. I used to get it in. So,
Okay.
So that's
Somebody
a little gem.
Multi-talented. Yes. Yeah. Jack of all trades. I love that. Well, thank you for speaking with us.
Oh, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Hopefully, when you're doing your promo run, you stop by a little bit and talk to us again.
Absolutely. This is fun. I would love that. This is fun. We should keep in touch during my career. So, when it's at the very top and at the very bottom, we can have something to contrast.
Yes. And don't switch up on us. That's what we need to. We have it on record. Don't switch up on us.
All right, for sure. I'm going to work on that.
You gonna work on getting money and being rich. I love that.
No problem. I ain't guaranteeing anything, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind. But one day I might be like, fuck that, yo. Let's do it. So
right.
You never know.
I'm done.
Indeed.
Again, thank you so much for speaking with us. Everybody, thank you for joining us today and asking some great questions, making some great comments, even though we didn't get to them. We will do this again. Thank you again.
It was a pleasure. Bye, everybody. Peace.
Bye, everybody.